with the Australia Day special. I see a big man over here wearing the.
Tread lightly, mate.
Yeah, boys, be very careful this episode because some people are actually Indigenous Australians on the panel.
That's true. Welcome to the New World Order, man.
Yeah, big time. We've got a new guest on. First of many, hopefully. Big Lee Jenkins is on.
Good
So
to
welcome.
be here. Thanks for having me.
I've got a decent fair few questions. And
Yeah, Rick's been waiting. Rick's
under
like
a few-
fucking kid in shit.
under different types of topics as well.
Yeah.
But we'll delve into it in a little bit.
Yeah.
We just come out of the Conor McGregor weekend.
Yeah. Well, I was gonna say let's dive into what happened on the weekend first. Let's get down to business first, and because we get the opinions of Lee and Sav also. We had a big weekend this weekend. We had obviously Conor McGregor fought Dustin Poirier in the main event of the UFC, and then you had Michael Chandler rock up to the UFC. That's why I'm wearing my Mizzou shirt. What camera's on me? Which one?
That one.
I want to make sure, man. Mizzou, that's for Michael Chandler. I've been a fan, man, for years. Me and yourself, been big fans of it, man. So I'm also lucky enough to call him a teammate now. So that was awesome for Sanford MMA. We got the win. Michael's truly established himself in the UFC now, so that was exciting. Did any of you guys watch it?
Yeah, we just finished them nice and early.
Yeah, nice and early. I think it was
beautiful
2.5 minutes
shot
in.
as well.
Yeah,
Just
went
comes
low.
low, comes over the top.
Yeah, I was excited for that fight because I thought it was like two of the best coaches in the game. That Eugene from City Kickboxing, and then you had obviously the best in the business, Henry Hoof from Sanford MMA or Hard Knocks, and we got the job done. And he established it early too. He was going to the body, hitting the body hard, dropping those hands. And to me, I felt like Hooker was maybe waiting for a bit of the later rounds to actually do to get started. And I think it was just but that's one thing I found with a lot of people. Michael Chandler, like, writing him off. They just thought he was a wrestler. They just thought he was a pure, wrestler. But, man, they call him Iron Mike for a reason, man, because he irons people out cold, man. No creases. So, big win for Michael Chandler. Then we had any guys got comments on it? No one's excited about Michael Chandler winning.
To be honest,
You took me away with your story. You took me away with the story. Like, you had all the answers there, really. But I seen the fight and he just looked dangerous.
Yeah.
He just looked dangerous throughout from start.
He's a powerful guy, man.
Yeah.
He's only 5'8". He's a small guy.
To be honest, when I seen them way up to each other, I was like, this is going to be a bit of a task for Chandler at first. Seeing the size difference and then actually watching the fight, it was like he just did not show any respect for his height whatsoever. Took away his advantage straight away.
Because Chandler didn't show no respect, and I think Dan Hooker showed too much respect.
Yeah.
Because he didn't really offer anything. I think he was just trying to take it to the later rounds.
Yeah.
And again, I guess Chandler just...
Yeah, he came out and got straight in his face. Yeah, that's it, man. He stuck to the game plan and got it done. But, for Hooker, it was a dangerous fight, I believe, because, that fight could have, it would have bought him a bit of... notoriety to beat a guy like Michael Chandler, but not huge amounts. But now that he's lost to Michael Chandler, I believe it sends Hooker so far back to the back of that line. Yeah. And that division is so stacked. You got Oliveira, you got Gaethje.
He left his gloves in the cage.
Who?
Hooker. And that's like a sign as if to say I'm retiring, He left but you know what happens when you get emotional?
Yeah,
anything can happen. Like,
well, actually,
I'm not made out
in saying that, just sorry to cut you off. In saying that of retirement, I just want to give a quick shout out to Nick Lentz from Sanford. He's one of the Sanford boys. He actually retired. He had an amazing career in the UFC. I think he had 14 fights in the UFC. He fought on the weekend. He unfortunately lost on a decision. Hard fought fight. Yeah, but Nick Lentz. All the best, brother. So they a great career from the guy, but he retired. Sorry, just to cut you off. But I haven't heard nothing about that.
I see.
You might have actually just forgot him. You know what I mean?
Put that out of it.
Yeah, bro. He did just get fucking ironed out, bro.
He did. It was a big talk about it that he left his gloves in the ring. But it's also like, in the moments when you expect more of yourself. You trained your ass off. You're still fighting to compete at that level. And someone fucking bingos and that you thought that you would have had a good chance against.
How old is Hooker?
I was just about to look that up.
I think he's 36. Is he?
Really? No, it's not that old.
Sure he is.
I don't know. I wouldn't have a clue. Let me have a look.
Yeah.
He's only 30.
Oh,
Yeah.
is he?
He's only,
Yeah, so he's pretty much in his prime.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's a surprise for some. So that's what it probably is. It probably is just
I'm sure he was just
emotional
emotional and annoyed.
thing, yeah.
Because to tell you the truth, I don't think he gave Chandler huge respect going into that fight. When I know you said it before that he did, but I felt like he didn't. There were some things that he said pre-fight that I was a bit like. Because he kept saying, I'm only taking the piss, Mark. I'm only taking the piss. And yeah, Australians and New Zealanders, we do like to take the piss a lot. But I remember there was on the embedded, he's like to his guy holding the pads, like, do the Michael Chandler. And the guy's like walking forward like a zombie. And I was like, bruh, don't mess with Michael Chandler in his hands, man. Like, so, but hey, that's the fight game. You know what I mean? So,
one and then it would have been.
Yeah. But yeah, then obviously was the big one was Conor.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of talk about Conor at the moment. Is he done? Is he over? Is he what's going on with Conor? I mean, personally, I'll say straight off the bat. Personally, I mean, you try and wake up at 6 a.m. when you live on a yacht and train like an animal. You know what I mean? Like, Lee, what do you think?
Yeah, no, he's I've always said that, at the very start of his career, mate, he was an animal, unbeatable, a pleasure to watch. It was like this new thing. Like he'd come in with his boxing style, sort of look like a karate kid or something. He'd come in there just knocking people out straight away. He was eager, he was determined, dedicated, driven. Like you've never seen nothing like it. And the way he spoke, people just attached to that. That's why he built up his brand really, really well. Yeah. So then, but maintaining that, that's another thing. Completely different. And he got to the pinnacle. He got his. He got the fruits and he liked the taste, and it's hard to come back down from there and try and fight, at that level again. When you've just come away, you've set the standard. Now you've come away from it for a long time. You've got to rise back to that standard in a sport that's evolving all the time. Do you know what I mean? And that's hard to do. Like, he might have set that standard, but people are going to surpass that. And especially if you step away from it, people are going to surpass that standard. And then he comes back thinking, even if he does come back thinking that he's come back to his level that he was previously at, maybe they used to say that the game hasn't surpassed that by now, and that's what basically happened. Yeah. And if you can't stay fucking,
complacent.
You can't like he's not consistent at all. Like he stepped away, comes back for another year later. There's no consistency there, and against world level fighters who are consistent, who are doing all the right things, they're in the gym every day, they're training their ass off, they've got different fights, different fighting the best in the world, different styles. They get more knowledgeable, they pick up the game, and that's what Poirier did. He went in there, he learned from it. And what I see in my personal view is that when you look at MMA, like a boxing style, like at the start, like you didn't really see it that often. Not like a counter puncher style boxer. Do you know what I mean? Like getting in there, like throwing all these like little trick shots and shit like that. You didn't really see that. And when Conor McGregor came in, he was just bingoing people, not from like power, just from like accuracy, and especially at the lower weights. He moved up the higher weights, it got harder for him, as it would. But with his what Poirier done really well is that he learned, all right, there's pros and cons to every style. You got a wrestler, there's cons, there's pros to it. You got a striker, a Muay Thai fighter, there's pros and cons to every certain style, but you've got to be able to, pick what's the best way to, dismantle this style a little bit. And Conor McGregor's got his preferred stance and what his go-to always is the boxing, because that's where he first started. And even though it's got benefits, massive benefits, it's also got weaknesses, and you just got to identify them. And I think Poirier, what he did perfectly is he noticed that boxers are heavy on the front leg. They're heavy on the front leg because they're looking to strike and get out of danger straight away, and they need that front leg, that base, in order to in out and shit like that. And Poirier just chopped at that calf, and before I think he only hit him, like what I seen, maybe like 3 times, and he battered it. It was destroyed.
But what he also did really well early on, he wrestled, and he shot in early. And to me, it was never an intention to submit him or ground and pound him out. It was just like you just said. put him even heavier on that front leg now. Because he's like, I don't want to get shot on.
Yeah.
You know, I don't want to be shot on. I want to be strong, ready to sprawl. And Poirier built a beautiful game around it, man. Yeah. You know, and what you were saying about Conor is true, man. I think he was really the first MMA fighter to have like real crisp hands, Like you had guys like Liddell and stuff who were icing people, but no one was as sharp as Conor McGregor. He was one of the first guys to come in and bring that style, and he done an amazing job with it. But in saying that, he never grew from it. He never came out and he never added calf kicks. He never wrestled. He never submitted.
He did have that front kick that to really to step it back, and he did throw it a lot back before this era. This new era of
but when did he ever do some damage with it?
Yeah, but he used it a lot as a teep kit to keep his range.
Look, I think with what you noticed with Conor as well, like what I did like about him when he was consistent was that, you know, if he got beaten with the dap and he'd come back, like let's say with the Diaz fight, like he got beat the first time. When at him the second time, he started chopping his leg because he's seen in a previous fight that Diaz had that he was really bad at getting his leg chopped off, you know, and he does, and he also likes the boxing stance, puts his weight heavy on that lead leg. So Conor just chopped at it, and you know, I thought it was a much closer fight. It was a close fight, but I thought Conor won that second fight, you know, with Diaz. But a lot of people think otherwise, but it's my personal view.
When you for me, it's like, I think it's down to ring rust this fight.
Yeah.
I think 100%. Inactivity, and then you're coming back to fight a top 2 guy, a killer.
And just quickly, a lot of people keep saying comments like ring rust, whatnot, but people aren't giving the credit to Poirier, man. He is a machine, bro.
He's been doing work,
and he's a gun, man. He's a gun.
Yeah. You're taking a guy that's has just been in the gym, hasn't had time, and before the Cerrone fight, he had since the last Cerrone fight, how long did I go? Like 2 rounds, 1 round. 40 seconds.
They're not even. Yeah.
So in 2 years, he's had what?
Yeah.
Before that was
6 seconds.
And in a way, that's what makes MMA such an amazing sport, because there's nowhere to hide like boxing. You know, you see these boxers who get all these tune-up fights. They have like 5 tune-up fights, so they go and have another title shot.
And I think that's what McGregor was like. Because McGregor was calling out Diego Sanchez, who we know that's not at that level. So I think he was looking for a tune-up fight.
Yeah.
So that's the only one was, and he said it after the fight. He goes, "I want to stay active. I want to keep fighting." Yeah. And then they left him sidelined for a year, and then put him in with the number 1 guy. Because
what he called it though.
Take away Justin Gaethje.
Yeah, but he called it though. McGregor asked for that.
Because he wasn't getting any fights.
No, it was for the charity. So
they were going to do
so
the boxing.
So McGregor said, "Let's fight for charity. The money goes to we'll donate to the charity." And Poirier was like, "Yeah, let's do it." And you know, top and you know, goes, you know, top level opponents up there, one of the best. Poirier doing it, like fighting the best out there. But McGregor probably had that arrogance in him, which he always had. I've beat him before, I'll beat him again. It's going to be the same fucking thing. It's not the same thing. Not like, you got to understand, fighters evolve every fucking day. You know, like you know what it's like yourself. You get beat or you get your ass kicked in training. You need to go and work on that, and you will, and you'll dedicate yourself to that, because that's the sport you're in.
Let's be honest, Conor literally would probably wake up the next morning and was fucking back on his yacht partying again. Where a guy like Poirier, the day he lost against Conor, he went straight back to the gym and started working. You know, he's never stopped. And that, I mean, it's as cliche as it gets. I know, you know, it's just like Rocky 3, man. Man got civilized. It's the worst thing that can happen to a fighter.
It is. That's my favourite Rocky. That is.
When you compare in the boxing world, Mayweather. In the later part
but Mayweather was the most intelligent. People reckon that Mayweather would have parties, and like the party would be getting going at 12 o'clock, and Mayweather would go home and go to bed, but he'd leave everyone a party. But he'd get up and train.
Had that lavish lifestyle.
I know, but the thing is, he always continued to train. Like, they reckon he had this work
everything before.
Like no other. And what he used to do was probably he showed you the lights over there.
That's probably what McGregor needed to do.
Well,
that's
live that lavish after his career. Stay in the game.
Well, you know, like when you even look into any form of martial arts, like even when you go to like you know, that samurai book, what's it called? I forgot what it's called anyway, but it's that's like an ancient like manuscript of like how to be a martial artist, how to be like the best you know, samurai, you know, and stuff like that. And even that talks about, you know, you've got to live the life that you of what you're doing. Like you've got to live this life. You can't like just come and go away from it. You know, the concept that it was given was basically that. You know, and Mayweather did that. from a kid, from his early age, as a baby, like his dad, his uncles were all boxers, like world class, world champion boxers, so he's been in that realm since he was a baby, and from the age of 0 to 7, which is that's the perfect period where you mold the kids. Fucking, that's where they're taking it. And at that point, 0 to 7 is the time when they're taking in most, and that is literally the habits that you're building up in them, and that they will subconsciously play out throughout the rest of their life. And Mayweather brought him through a child, got that way, that's just become his normal, his life. That's what he does. Doesn't think nothing different. Goes out there, he can party, he can do this, he can travel, but he never ever misses his training. Even now,
one thing I always heard about Floyd Mayweather, the same thing.
Yeah.
Man, they reckon his work was relentless, would just never stop.
Yeah.
Like he'd wake up at 2 a.m. sometimes and spar. Like he'd just get guys and bang me at the gym at 2 a.m. Like
that's a lot of guys that were that got to that height, like Mike Tyson. Like these guys were they never stopped that life.
Yeah.
Even though Mike Tyson owned the Tiger, he'd go out and get racked out of his head.
Yeah.
He just never always stayed consistent.
Yeah.
And that's like when you compare to a lot of those guys that hit that top, like Canelo, like Mayweather, like Mike Tyson.
Yeah.
Like all of those guys, like they just remain consistent, and they came through. Like,
can I just say,
child.
I mean, I don't want to go against you, but I think a guy like Mike is a guy like Conor in a sense.
Yeah, it is the exact same.
Yeah, I
You've
think
got
the
a
money
kid
got
with
to him,
nothing,
and he just went, oh, money. Where what we're trying to say about Floyd is Floyd was like this millionaire,
he had that from
and he
the
would
start.
have all his mates here and go, oh, you guys go party over there. I'll be back in an hour. I'm just gonna go over here and try. They reckon that's what they say about Floyd. He just never once.
That was his normal.
Hold of him.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? He was always on top of the game. And if you look at his career, that's why he is honest. Like you can say what you want about him, whether you like him or not.
But he's a quality operator.
But he's, bro, he
didn't
got
step
dropped
off
twice in his career. And he never got dropped. Wow, what a freak, man! Like the guy's honestly amazing, and it shows. And a guy like Conor, I mean, he's a good fighter and all, but. It just money got to him, man. Money, what he did to Mike and everything.
And Mike Tyson
destroyed him.
Mike Tyson, as you were saying, like he's one of those people who said, like, I was a 21-year-old kid. Yeah, who do you fucking think you are? Giving me $100 million fucking dollars. Who do you think you are doing that? Of course, I'm gonna go crazy with that amount of money. I come from nothing, come from nowhere. Like, who do you think you are doing?
I mean, the same thing with Conor. Like, fuck, imagine one day, like, you legit, like, they reckon he could barely pay his bills to now. Like, he would just be making so much fucking money. Everybody just knows him. Every person. Like, people that don't even know anything about. People wouldn't even know what mixed martial arts is, but they would know who Conor McGregor is.
Conor McGregor, that night against Poirier, looked like a fucking alcoholic. He actually looked like
His what?
He looked like an alcoholic.
Who?
Conor McGregor.
For his what?
Fight with Poirier.
Fight with Poirier, what do you mean?
Like, Conor McGregor, when we're talking about Mike Tyson, Conor McGregor, yeah. Well, I'm saying, look at him now, compared to what he used to look like. Like he's living off the, his glory. He loves all this, but now he's like, he drinks every night. He drinks every night. He's got his own fucking whiskey brand. He's drinking at fucking press conferences. Yeah. He's probably on all sorts. He can get whatever he wants. He literally goes wherever he wants. He's in the Sin City. You can get anything, do whatever you want there. I'm being myself. It's crazy. It's crazy out there. And
we went a bit off the point there, but I think well, look, the thing, the simple answer is you had a lion against a fucking zebra. The guy man enjoyed life. You know the difference. They're both lions, but the difference is Conor was living in the zoo for the last 5 years. Dustin was out there hunting for food, man. Yeah. And it's different. You can't get a civilized fucking lion from the zoo and put him straight out in the wild. He'll get eaten alive. And that's what happened the other day. Dustin Poirier was a class operator, and he went in there and done his fucking job. Simple as that, man. Conor's got to get off the boat, get back in the gym, and get back to work.
It'll be interesting to see where Conor goes from here.
Yeah,
his next opponent will be, and then that his legacy really rides on that next fight he takes.
I mean, his legacy in a sense,
it's still there, and look, it's one of them. Are you gonna risk it? Are you gonna risk your legacy anymore?
I know what you're saying, Rick. Like, what's next can damage his legacy, but he'll never lose.
Look, I'm one of them.
But he's for example, everybody's gonna know him for the most entertaining guy ever.
Yeah, that's Well, if he loses again, they're gonna go, maybe he was just marketed really well. Maybe he wasn't that good. But still, in years to come, he'll still be remembered.
Yeah, remember.
Oh, yeah, he's got
exactly like a superstar, and some of the stuff.
I've always said personally, Conor McGregor is great, but greatest. I mean, come on, man. Like even a guy, I think Adesanya's.
He
better
done
than Conor
great
McGregor.
things. You know, he was first. What was he? The first 2-weight world champion. You know, like he's done great things. He made the history. He's a Hall of Famer for sure. Got to be. Record numbers in like pay-per-views and shit like that. Like he's a quality operator. I'm one of them too. Like it hurt me to see him get beat. You know, I didn't want to see him get beat. I don't, because I appreciate his style. I like it, and I want to see him win. Even against Khabib, even though I like Khabib, he's one of the best of all time. Like amazing, like just an absolute phenom. But I still wanted McGregor to win because I like, you know, I was just hoping that it would happen. You know,
you don't want the Conor train to end.
Yeah, you don't, because it's fun, you know, but it's got to, because there's no way you can live that. You live that life the way he lives, that lavish life, and expect to remain at the very top.
It was pretty cool to as a fan, to go through like that with him, like to watch him go through like that era, and then like you grow an attachment to it, and then just see it on the weekend, and you just
fuck.
You were just like, honestly, I was just staring at the screen.
I was like, my day was ruined. My day was kind of ruined.
I remember when I was living in Liverpool, he told me. He goes, this guy's going to be the next big thing. And I was like, how's that out? It's going to fuck him. He's like, nah, this guy's going to kill him. I remember he went to bed that night. Danny Roberts fought on the same card as the Jose Aldo Conor McGregor show. I stayed up and it was on super late level. I kept falling asleep. I never remember when Conor McGregor knocked out Jose Aldo. I was just sitting on the couch like, I was just like, oh my God, like, more like, I can't believe Lee got that right.
Yeah, I knew it was going to that.
I was so annoyed at that. But then I was like, fuck, man, like, and yeah, like you're saying right now, like, bro, that's a moment in my life I'll never forget, to watch a guy. Like, just it's one of the greatest guys of all time. Like, in seconds, I was like, oh my God, what was that?
You couldn't write that. You couldn't write that.
You have those moments every now and again. For me as a martial artist, like, I had that same feeling when I watched, the first time I ever watched Michael Chandler versus Eddie Alvarez. I was just like, whoa, man, like, fuck, how good is mixed martial arts? Like, look, he's like at a pinnacle, man. Then to see a guy like Conor just put the guy out cold in one punch, man. It was like watching, like, you know, everyone goes on about Bruce Lee, who I personally think is full of shit, but you know what I mean? Like, Conor McGregor did the Bruce Lee, like, knocked the guy clean out cold. Like, one of the best. And you were like, oh my God, like, you see that. So, yeah, it is sad to see. I don't know, who knows? You don't ride the guy off but personally, if I had the,
And then, what do you reckon happens with Poirier now?
He deserves a shot. He deserves the title at least. Is it relinquished? As no one got it.
Well, no. But that's a weird thing. Like, there's no discussion of it being free. There's no discussion. Like, so that's why I sort of think maybe Khabib isn't gone.
Yeah, maybe he's just trying to barter with them with bigger money.
In the post-fight press conference, Poirier came out and said that he's not going to fight Chandler. He hasn't proven himself yet in the UFC. He said Oliveira, he'll fight that guy again. There's talk about the trilogy again with McGregor. And then I think he also called out Nate. Poirier said, I wouldn't mind to fight Nate Diaz.
Yeah.
Why Nate Diaz?
Money fight. And it'll be entertaining because they're both gonna stand and strike. You know, Poirier probably win. He'll probably win.
And Poirier's already discarded Dan Hooker and he's already discarded Justin Gaethje, and he's like, I've beat him both.
Yeah.
He's like, I don't want to fight those.
Well, that's the next big topic, is really who is in line for the title shot. You can't you can't go against Poirier. Poirier needs to be there. But the question is, who is it? Oliveira? Is it Chandler?
So
I think Oliveira.
I reckon what they should do is match up Oliveira with Chandler, and then those two will fight Poirier.
You know what they should do? They should do a 4-man tournament. When it takes all,
but they would never do that though.
But what I'm saying is,
it'd be good to invite
a tournament. What I'm saying is, all right, these two
fight and then
winners get the title shot. You know, so that
who would you put though with Poirier
right now? Oliveira.
No, I would personally put Gaethje
again.
Yeah. I was thinking about it because they fought, and I think Gaethje got Khabib, and he got smoked. Look, I'm with you too. It has to be. I wouldn't, as much as I love Chandler. I don't think it should be Chandler. I think it should either be Oliveira or Gaethje, and Chandler should be the other fight, which gets a shot at that.
So Gaethje's just come off the Khabib loss. Oliveira just completely mauled Tony Ferguson.
Yeah.
put two and two together. I think Oliveira there has to get that
fair
shot.
enough.
Yeah.
Look,
And that
everybody-
guy's been doing work, man.
Yeah, no, he has.
And he's been beating everyone.
Let me
Everybody
let
has
me just say
overlooked him.
this: that in that lower division, I think they can't have a bad fight. So whatever they come up with, fucking, I'm excited to see it.
Yeah.
I'd put Oliveira. That's my guy,
Yeah.
man.
Oliveira against Poirier.
And I'm telling you right now, Oliveira.
But I would make that the title
Yeah,
shot though.
yeah.
I would make that the title
Yeah,
shot
that's
though.
what he's saying.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, same. I thought you meant in the tournament. Yeah,
'Cause
definitely the title shot.
Oliveira's like well-rounded. Like
Yeah.
he's a beast everywhere, and it showed against Tony Ferguson. Tony Ferguson's got a good ground game, and Ferguson had nothing.
Yeah, but in saying that, is Tony Ferguson done?
But oh yeah.
No, I'm not trying to
He look-
disrespect Oliveira, but hey, I hope Oliveira try to like him too. He's a good fighter. You know that, but that lightweight division is just so
Yeah,
good,
it's
so good.
Stacked.
Once hit the Spartan there, and if you know,
How long do you reckon? How long do you reckon it'll be before do you reckon he'll come out and say Oliveira's on PEDs? Hey, look, it could
He is
be.
good.
Brazilian climb.
Yeah, no, you know, like,
He's
you
been
know.
hanging out with Canelo.
Yeah, that's it. That's it. Yeah. Yeah, like
Let's move
Canelo.
on to our guest because he's chirping at the bit to get
Yeah.
to the.
Yeah,
get
is it?
to
Yeah,
the-
go on.
and I'd love to. I want to personally hear the questions he's got to know.
Well, it's like Lee's been messaging me saying, you know, what are the
Oh.
questions? What are the questions? Just so I know.
No.
And
This cunt's a little. He'll sideswipe me with something. He's got something planned. He's got something planned. I know.
But I told him, I'm like, there's nothing to worry about. You know,
and then he's got a list of the questions.
Yeah, no. Well, the first thing I want to dive into is the Lee before the Lee we know today. Liverpool Lee, and it's to me it's a mystery. To me it's a mystery, and to a lot of it is as well.
Not to me.
So looking at it from the outside in, you know, Lee today is this guy who lives a higher. What do you call it? A higher
Of the higher mind.
Yeah, the higher mind. You know,
He's not got a swollen pineal.
No, my pineal gland is not calcified. Okay.
One more.
So obviously, like when I see these things and I analyze it, I feel like people that have been through stuff and seen stuff do those 180s in their life.
Yeah.
So I don't know. Like again, like growing up, how was it in Liverpool? Like what was your upbringing?
Yeah, like Liverpool's it's a rough place, you know. Like, but you don't know it's rough. It's just normal when you live there and from there. That's just your way of life, you know. And then it's not until you come away from there and you come out, like venture out into the world, you know, and see that it's, you know, like there's nicer places, the different places, more relaxed places, you know. You realise how rough it actually is, you know. And Liverpool's kind of like that. Like even Tony didn't know at all like what Liverpool was like, you know. That's all. And the first day he gets there, like there was a shooting around the corner, you know. And you don't hear that stuff on the news over here, but you'll think like you watch the TV or something, and it gives you an image that England's this nice posh place.
Yeah, well, like if I was to
quickly, just what we're on the topic, because his people, the English, they fucking killed his people.
yeah.
I like.
Look, mate, don't
that-
blame me, mate.
Sad story, really, and they're still trying to do it, but I'm on the winning side.
How are they still trying to do it? Have they got some sort of interventions that they
Of
get?
course they do. Of course they do. They negatively stereotype all Aboriginals. The word Aboriginal has been like the perception of it now is just not what the word actually
means. Yeah.
There's just a lot of stupid, scared people around.
What about the benefits about being?
Well, one of the benefits. So now I am an Aboriginal. The only benefits that I can actually get that are free and whatever is through Medicare. I can get free PBS pharmaceuticals. So like kill yourself.
Well, so like your
free.
eugenics.
Yeah, things to just
that's
kill
all you're
yourself.
allowed.
Yeah,
And,
and they'll give
for
it
free?
to us for free, man.
Oh, what?
So there's a war with my people.
That sounds fishy to me. You know, that sounds
they're
fishy.
trying to kill us.
Bastards.
But anyway,
Yeah, but going
Back to Liverpool.
Yeah, going back. Like for me, growing up, you know, I'm a big football fan. When I think of Liverpool, you know, I really just think about Anfield and like, you know, big massive stadium. I think it's like before I met you, I would always thought, Liverpool's a nice place. It's safe and whatever. And
You just think England. You think everyone's posh and fancy and hello, how are you? You good there, governor?
Yeah.
Miss Bouquet, And I thought the same thing. And the funny thing is, well, where was the first country, well, did you ever go? You would have went outside of England, I guess.
Yeah.
But when the first time you came to Australia, what was it like? Well, did you see like a huge difference between Australia and England?
Yeah, like there was similarities. It was like going back in time in a sense, but at the same time, it was just so much more relaxed. Do you know what I mean? So much more chilled out.
But did you feel like when you came here, you like always like who the fuck, like who's the gangsters, who's?
Yeah, a bit, yeah. You do, like, you think like, you get in and you think like, to be honest, like, is there even any gangsters here?
No,
like,
but I'm saying when you first came, did you still have that like? Because it's funny, like
not as much now, because because when you come away from there, because you don't hear, like, the same as you like, we don't really hear stuff what's going on in Australia.
Oh, okay.
We don't hear the bad stuff. We don't hear the stabbing around the corner. We don't hear none of that. We just see, Australia, nice sunny weather, kangaroos everywhere, emus. Like, so we come over here, and I didn't even think there would be bikies here. I didn't think that was a thing, because we don't get them in the UK, like, at all, So
it's too cold.
yeah, so
they go in cars. So carpool lads.
So I come over here thinking like, I'm in like fucking cartoon land or something, like this little.
Well, essentially that's the same thing. What I thought, and that's what's funny. We're having this discussion with Sav. The media can give you this perception of the world that you don't even know. Like when I lived in America, just everyone just assumed that I just lived in the desert with kangaroos. Yeah. They're like, do you see kangaroos every day? I was like, no. Like, but that's what because that's what the TV tells you. Because the TV can narrate stories to you, and that's the same thing with Liv. I went to Liverpool, man. I'm thinking, like I said, like fancy. We'd stop every day, every Sunday, and have a roast. And then he's telling me people getting shot, drugged. I'm thinking, I thought he was sort of trying to be a bit of a hard nut. I'm just like, nah.
But really, it happens, It really does. It's just like the norm there. But like, like it's like anywhere can be like that. But yeah, I grew up sort of in, like around that. I was growing up and, on the streets, they're the people you kind of look up to. That because what happened in Liverpool is that it was a really, prosperous place at one point, and then it had a massive dock where it was bringing in a lot of ships, a lot of tourism, a lot of like fisheries and all this, a lot of trading going on in the docks. And what happened? It got a little bit too powerful, and there was a big union there, and there was a wicked witch called Margaret Thatcher, who was the Prime Minister of England at the time, and she really fucked us over, basically just to get a second term in power. So she shut down the docks, which can't stop the unions, and she didn't, and they couldn't vote, so she got a second term, and basically what that done is turned Liverpool into a criminal hub, because they had no money. They had, like, you left school, there was always a job for you to go to. You go to the dock and work there, you get some money. There was always a job, there was always something to do. As soon as that shut down, there was nothing to do for no one, so people resorted to criminality, which violence or robbing, drugs, whatever they could to make a living, that, like, fighting. Like if you go to Liverpool, there's a lot of talented people there, and you wouldn't ever think about. You wouldn't ever think it's a small, little small city.
Well, the funniest thing is that I say to a lot of people is, I remember we went out one night, me and Lee, and we went into this after party underground nightclub. We went in there, and in that one nightclub, I was standing next to Liam Smith, who was a world champion boxer, Callum Smith, who have both fought Canelo, both world champions. What's the black guy from
James
Everton?
Ross Barkley.
Ross Barkley was also then the guy who plays for Inter Milan now, one from Everton. Roman Lukaku. Lukaku, and then also Terry Adam was there as well. 5 massive sporting icons who were in one room, and there was probably only about maybe 100 people in this room.
Yeah, probably about 150.
Like, you're talking like international like superstars. In such a small town. Like, where in Australia would you ever do that? You stand next to fucking Russell Levy. Come on, bro.
Bumping Ryan. Leon Davis walks past. Leon there. It's happened to me. I swear to God.
You see, bro. Nah, bro. I was gonna say, you see some of those footballers, but they're pissed drunk. They're bums, most of them now, bro. You see them, you're like, bro.
Just come out and say it, mate. What you want to say? Most of Babbo?
I was saying Brian Pickett, but you know, I didn't want to. He's a good guy.
Do not tar us with the
Nah, I
same
wasn't saying Aboriginals. I was saying most of
that's
them.
fine,
Well,
man.
fucking, hey, don't about the Aboriginal. About Dean Laley. He's a white cunt. He's a fucking tranny now. Don't about him. They're all messed up. Those cunts.
Yeah.
But anyway, my point is, you know, like Lisa, there is so much, like, you know, Stephen Gerrard. There's so many great, the Beatles.
Yeah.
You know, like think about Liverpool. Like they, like it's such a small little ass town, but man, like the amount of talent and stuff
it's
that's
because
come out of there.
they had nothing else to resort to. Really, they had the arts, or some sort of art, which like, you know, music, you know, dancing, fighting, whatever, sports, whatever. Like you know, football teams are really big back then too. Well, even now, it's massive now. And what was I saying then? I've lost my train of thought.
Football teams were massive.
Yeah. Well.
You were saying about the talent in Liverpool.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's very much so like that, and you know, it all resulted from basically us getting fucked over by the government. But now, you know, we're sort of coming back. There's still criminal.
Tell the listeners how Liverpool honours Margaret Thatcher's memory.
Yeah. Well, when she died, there was a massive crowd, big, you know, party in the city of people just burning not a statue, but like a doll of Margaret Thatcher singing "The Wicked Witch is Dead," "The Wicked Witch is Dead." You know, they loved it.
Animals.
But like, that's like, you know, that was Liverpool.
Yeah.
So growing up in that world and then coming over here was like, you know, completely different world, more laid back, more chilled. And you know, I came here, spent a year, met the boys, it was great, you know, had a good time, went back home, shit hit the fan, you know, you end up going down the wrong path, doing stupid things, fighting, cause, you know, having little bits of trouble here and there, things that you shouldn't really be doing. And you just, you know, you follow, like, you know, like you become a product of your environment, kind of, you know, and you just, you know, go down that path. And then what happened with me is that I came back over just to, you know, to help my dad. You know, he needed some help, so I come over here, helped him out because he lives out here. And I caught up with the boys again, and he's told me that they were heading to Europe to spend a little, you know, Europe trip. He said, where's the place to go? I told him some places to go. You did well there, didn't you, boys? Yeah.
Jenkins has got the boss.
So we went.
and that's a good endorsement coming from Michael. Like if he's giving you these kids, write that down.
Your mob were down there. A few like English birds.
Yeah. I told you.
You got us back. No, I won't go into that.
So I ended up coming home with the boys, and then the boys went over to Europe, and Tony come and stayed with me, and we ended up having, you know, like training together. And I hadn't been training in such a long time, but I wanted to help him, you know, and it would also give me the opportunity to start training again, get myself out of my little rut that I was in. And I got out there, started doing some training. It was good. And Tony ended up like training it, and then he ended up going back home. You know, we tried to get him a fight over there, but it was hard. Like, I don't know why it was so hard, but it was hard. You know,
because they wanted me to sell tickets.
Yeah, and
they wanted me to. I couldn't. Like, who am I going to sell tickets?
Yeah, exactly. He doesn't really know.
I only ran the city, but I couldn't sell that many tickets. You know.
So we ended up. So we went away anyway. Diego comes over and he does a little round Europe trip, and he comes over and he's like, Lee, you know, that's the boy's brother. And he's
because I fought not long after I got back.
Yeah.
And I fought and I did so well. My footwork was really good. And I remember everyone at that show was like, man, how's your footwork so good?
Yeah.
I was like, because Lee taught me how to do it. Yeah. And that's why Diego went and there go on and Diego.
Yeah. And so Diego's like, come over, you know, he's got another fight coming up, come and help him with his, you know, first pro boxing fight, and then if you don't like, you can go home after 3 months. You don't have to stay, but you've got a place to stay. If you like, you know, you've got a roof over your head, food, and all stuff like that, just come and test it out. And I'm come away, and I was like, oh, you know, what I've got to lose. And I said to him at the time, you know, like, have a joint with me, have a little split with me, and you know,
I think it's the first time you ever done it.
Yeah, and he was like, oh, I don't know, maybe let's see, all right, if you book your flight, I'll do it. I said okay, so He did it.
Jenko got a few of the lads.
I know. He
Remember
done
little Rob, he went white.
Yeah, he went
I
white,
wasn't
yeah.
there, but
He went white. So he had the joint, and then the next day I went out and bought my ticket, and I flew out like a couple of months. We surprised Tony when I got here, and then we just started getting ready straight away for his fight, and yeah, and then I remember getting here within the first like 2 weeks. Like I didn't know I was miserable at home. I didn't know at all, you know. I really didn't until I came here and realised, oh fuck, I was actually really miserable back home.
Yeah.
This is so much easier. What the fuck am I doing
Right.
being there, you know?
Yeah, I remember when I first, when we were young, I remember Lee. We would have been when we first met, and we were out on Hindley Street. He was standing at the top of the Macca's, and he's standing there, and I thought, oh my God, this cunt is looking to smash somebody. So we're only young guys, but I thought, fuck, man, this is the sort of cunt like we can hang out with. 'Cause he's a fucking non-stop fighter. He's got balls, mate. He's a fucking top player, man. Happy to have you, man. He doesn't
But
take shit from nobody.
I guess he's like a typical Englishman. Came here, took it over.
Yeah, you know, plant your flag, you know, get a couple of
Yeah.
properties, you know,
He's a true Mac.
couple of servants.
Yeah.
he didn't turn me into a fucking slave. When I was in Liverpool, cooking for him
He
cleaning.
was. I turned him
Did he?
into a man though, so he had to learn for
He did,
himself,
he
you
did.
know, he had to
I've
do
been
it.
sleeping on the floor like a rat.
I guess you got to see that, live that way.
Yeah,
I
he
guess.
did.
No,
It's
but
tough,
I
like-
enjoyed my time in Liverpool over there because for me it gave me the opposite end. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I came from a good life over there to go on. Oh fuck, you know what I mean? Like yeah, like how lucky we do have it at home. That's why when I met Lee and you know how much of a good guy I thought he was. It was like I really want him to be able to enjoy this life as well. Because hey, there's no point in fucking having a great life and enjoying it with nobody. You might as well rather have great people around me and have an alright, you know what I mean, life. You know, there's no point being at the top all by your fucking self.
Yeah.
I personally don't see the point in that. And yeah, that's why I thought it'd be awesome for because when I left, I was begging him all the time to
Yeah,
come with
come
me.
over, come
You
over.
know, and he was obviously a bit worried about it.
Yeah, because I had like a lot of things. It's the funny thing. The funny thing is, I had a lot of stuff back home, like all my furniture, everything, bed, clothes, like like all designer stuff. Because that's the thing in Liverpool as well. Like you wear all your
Oh, no,
designer
that's
stuff.
funny.
So expensive. So I had loads of stuff there. Cost me
How'd
so
you
much.
afford everything?
Oh, like just stupid shit, like bit of work, bit of this, bit of that,
Bits and bobs.
bits and bobs,
Well, the
just
funniest thing
stupid
is,
shit.
just two things about with Lee. I found it very crazy when Lee moved here, and the first ever time Lee, he started shopping at Target.
Yeah.
And I was like, I couldn't believe it because Lee.
That was my
like,
place.
It was so image like
Target.
back in Liverpool. It's such an image-based place, so you can't just go in a normal T-shirt. You got to wear Nike and Adidas.
You gotta look the part, otherwise you drop down the social ladder because that's what it's like.
When I first seen Lee do that, it was in a way to me, it was like fuck, Lee seen that light,
Well,
what I mean?
well,
Like,
that's it. Like what happened? Like I was like, you get in a dark place, you put yourself in a dark place, and I did, and I allowed stupid shit that was going on in my life to put myself there. That's what I've done, and I needed a way out. So I'd look for. I never chose to look for it, but it just presented itself to me, and one of them was like Diego and Tony coming over and being like, come over and try it out, and I just took that. You know what? That's a sign. Give it a go. What have you got to lose?
Because a lot of people say that with me and Lee. You know what I mean? They're like, oh, you're lucky. You with you and Lee. You helped them come over. And I was like, well, it's not really me. It was more Lee to have the balls to do it. Like, imagine leaving everything. He literally came over with a sports bag
and left everything there.
Bro.
So all that furniture stuff that we were talking about.
Man. And like Sam said, he was that guy, and I remember working that night. He was wearing the button-up polo, tight jeans, and he had the what shoes did you used to wear?
The Lambans.
The Lambans. That's it. Balls, man. Like, fuck it, man. What have I got to lose? And that's how he lived his life. And now look at it. Now he reaps the rewards, man.
When did you start fighting and why?
So as a kid, I was infatuated with fighting. Like even as a 3-4 year old asking me dad stupid questions like.
That's because your dad was a good fighter.
Shout
out to Big Lee.
Yeah, that's what he said. He told me that. I believed every one of those. Which now I've got no doubt. Like he could probably scrap, but yeah, like in my world view of that, like he was like Superman, being able to bash everyone. But obviously now I'm older, that probably wasn't the case. No offense, no offense. But yeah, he's definitely tough. You know, he's from Liverpool too, and he grew up much harder than I did, and you know, and he had to fend for himself from a much earlier age than me too. You know, so yeah, you know, I probably picked up a lot of that roughness from my dad, so I've got a lot to be grateful in that sense too. You know, but when it comes into fighting, I just was infatuated with it for some reason. I don't know why. Maybe my dad told me stories from a young age, and I wanted to follow the same ones.
Just quickly. In Liverpool, was fighting was it on TV a lot?
Yeah, it was a lot. It was big. Yeah, it was big. So what? So
is that where you picked it up from? Like you?
Yeah, I used to watch all like Rockies, kickboxer, you know, blood sport, like these film videos, because the videos back then, you know, like I used to watch them thinking, wow, and I used to just get like so inspired and like jump for joy, like I'd be doing going around boxing, throwing punches and stuff like that, and so like I always had like that, just like was like a little inspiration as a kid, and that's all you need to spark that interest into getting involved in it. And you know, I used to ask questions like, you know, who would win out of a, you know, Velociraptor and a saber-toothed tiger, you know, just stupid questions. Just I always constantly thinking about fighting, competing. Don't know why, but it just come from somewhere, you know. And so I got into I had a mate called Yusuf, and we were just playing on the street. He lived up the road from me, and he said, oh, his mum was shouting at me, and he had to go to kickboxing. He was like, oh, I want to play with Lee. Like, do I have to go? And she said, bring him with you. And he said, do you want to come? And I said, yeah, okay. And I was like 7. And he said, yeah, okay, I'll go to kickboxing with you. Asked me mum, yeah, cool. Went to kickboxing, and I loved it straight away. I ended up doing it for like 4 years or something, as a 7 to like 11 or something like that, 10 or something. And
yeah, before as a kickboxer.
Yeah, I had like, I was only a kid, but I had like 3 fights, and I was quite happy with that.
What ages were they?
Like 8. I think 8, 9, and 10. I think I had a fight each year then, you know, because there wasn't a lot of fights. There wasn't a lot of fights as a kid, you know. There wasn't a lot of fights as chilled, like actual kids, you know what I mean?
But still
like
at 8, 9, or 10 in Australia,
yeah,
saying that.
Competing, yeah, I know. So anyway, so I come away. So he left. He ended up leaving, and I kept at it. And then, but I always was drawn to boxing, and it was because of a guy called Prince Nazim Hamid. I just loved his style. He was like, I was infatuated with him. I was just watching him all the time, watching his fights. Like, he was cool, he was funny, you know, like how he was cocky, like it was hilarious, you know. I loved it as a kid, and I used to like pretend to be him and act like him and shit like that. Yeah. So that was like, so I thought I want to change. I want to go to boxing, and I stopped kickboxing for like maybe a year or so, and I just started going to this little local community service club that was teaching boxing, not competitive boxing, but just teaching kids self-defense, like boxing and stuff like that. And he was talking about starting his own proper club. The coach's name was Mark White, top bloke, like still today, still like good bloke. And but because he wasn't, I wanted to compete. I wanted to be able to fight and I wanted to be a world champion. You know, as a kid, you know, they're the goals that you sort of start attaching yourselves to. And so I told my dad, and he said, yeah, I know someone who can take you to a club. And went to a club called Golden Gloves, and that was one Liverpool renowned boxing club, you know. And I went there, learned my style, had a few fights there from like, I think my first boxing fight was like 12, about 12, maybe going on to 13, and then just stop starting boxing as a early age, you know. Like I had to do it for like 3 years, stop for a year, come back, do another 3 years, stop for a year. Like I was just had those little, I hate it, I love it, hate it, because that's what it turns into be. But you know, I think from doing that, it helped me in sort of kind of understanding mindset of it, you know. Like you go away and you see how much that can affect you, like in terms of not excelling further, like how the mind, how you stop them because you didn't like it for a bit, like how that can affect your progress, you know what I mean? And that's basically what happened with me. I wasn't consistent with it. But I come back and I did well. I did all right. But yeah, I loved it. And then I got in. I did little bits of MMA too. You know, like not competitive, but I always trained it. Did little bits with my cousins and stuff like that. You know, trained at a few good gyms in Liverpool, like Aspire and Carbon and even Next Generation. So like I went around just learning it, like not to compete, just to, you know, because it was like enjoyable, like this new thing coming about. Because, you know, I remember like UFC was like, oh, like fuck, it's dangerous, you know, like you had to be careful with the UFC like stuff. Then like you thought, like if you had the CD, it was like, oh fuck, I've got gold, like the secret is, you know, it's banned and stuff like that. That's what you thought. Yeah. So I end up getting, like, you know, loving that sort of stuff. But my main love was always boxing. That was like home. I always went back there. That was what I knew. It was what I was comfortable with, you know, and that was my first, you know, inspiration to want to do. So yeah, I ended up, like, you know, going down that path. And fortunately, like what I've noticed when coming away, stopping and starting boxing, when you come away, you really get to, like, you really evaluate, like, do I actually want to do this? Like, what could I do better? Where was it? What was I doing wrong? You know, and and I think sometimes a bit of space away from it can help that. But like, as long as you're also focusing back on the sport. But me, I just, you know, I come away and enjoy different parts.
How many amateurs fights did you have?
I think it was 42. Yeah, about 42 amateur fights.
How many in England?
I had like maybe 30. I think I had 7 here. About
35.
Yeah, about 35 in England. Yeah.
There's a badass story of him in when he went to Leeds.
Oh yeah. But this wasn't an amateur fight. Like, this was just an unlicensed fight, you know. So I got I remember my mate Kev. He had this neighbour, and he's like talking to him. Oh, do you know anyone who can box and stuff like that? Like, got this unlicensed fight. You know, it's like, you know, like 350 quid for 3 rounds, you know, like, do you know anyone who'll do it? And he said, yeah, I know someone, Lee'll do it. Like that, and I was like, fuck. So he calls me and Lee, look, what an opportunity, a little 3 round, 2 minute fight, unlicensed, it's up in Leeds though, would you go? And I said, yeah, like, but who am I fighting? Oh, you're fighting the champion, we can't get a fight for him, it's the, you know, he's the, I forgot what the unlicensed promotion was called, but he's this unlicensed national champ. We can't get a fight for him. Will you fight him? You know, a bit of money there for you. It's in his hometown. You're up for it, and I was like, yeah, right, why not? Let's give it a go. You know, like, who cares? You know, like, like, it's unlicensed. It's not going to get put on any pro record. Yeah. Like, and if whoever wins, lose, doesn't matter. Like, you're still going to get paid the same money. All right, yeah, let's do it. Didn't train, like, maybe trained a week in advance. Like, I'd be, what? Gloves. Yeah, boxing gloves, yeah.
You trained the week?
So I trained about...
Big camp for you.
Yeah, but that's what I mean. So I trained a week, like, literally... Camp, he's a tit. He's a tit. So trained the week, went up there, and I had no one in my corner but this guy who had just met a week prior, and put me mate Paul Mig, you know, Paulie Mig. So, and he came, and, like, you know, he's not a boxer, he doesn't know nothing, but he was like me steel man and stuff like that. And he was like, you know.
Who's
so
Paulie?
Yeah,
Paulie. Literally Paulie.
Yeah. So I was like, so we get there, and you know, I'm down there, and I could just like. This guy gets, you know, called out as who's going to be fighting. And when they say his name, the crowd just goes, yeah, roars, goes crazy. I'm like, fuck, has he sold all the tickets here? What the fuck going on? Turns out, yeah, he did sell most of the tickets in this event. It was his, you know, he was the big name there. Like, he was well known around the area in Leeds. And, you know, there's a massive rivalry between Leeds and Liverpool too, you know, like, there's, like, between the people, because, you know, they're always competing. Like, that's what it's like in England a little bit. And, yeah, go out there, and they call my name out, and I'm just getting booed, you know, coming into the ring, and I'm just laughing, thinking, fuck me, what have I done? Yeah, what have I done to myself? You know what I mean? I thought it was a friendly little fight, you know. Anyway, I end up getting in there, and everyone goes crazy for him, and we touch gloves, and he comes out just throwing haymakers, and I just knew, like, oh yeah, easy, you know. So I was just picking him apart. Every time he come, just pick him apart, and I literally just took this guy to school. Like, and it was a week apart. It was a week training. So I wasn't like super fit, but I was, you know, doing enough to win these rounds. I was picking this guy apart, and like everyone, like the place, the arena was silent. You know, they were completely silent because this guy was just getting schooled. Get back. get back, get the decision comes in, he gets the win, and everyone's just like, yeah, but like it's a very like lackluster, sort of applause. And I was like, oh, whatever, give me 350 quid, I'm off, like whatever, like. And they're like, oh look, we know like it was a close fight, you've got to take the champion's title away from him. I said, oh, I'm not bothered, I didn't want the title anyway, I just wanted the money, to be honest. So I left, got away, and had all the people, all his cousins, everything coming over to me. Oh, you won that. And he was like that. Are you pro? I wasn't pro at this time. I was literally just. I think I had to go amateur again. I think I was like, after that fight, I went back in the amateurs and just give it another go. But yeah, though that was a really intimidating time. Like you go there, them places.
Because I went to a couple of events like that. You just go, you're just in this like random nightclub. Yeah. There's just like fucking Joe Blogg from down the road fighting fucking Stevie, and there's just like two guys just like they're walking in the ring with a beer, put the gloves on, and just fucking box. Robbie came with me, and we were there with what's his name?
When Elliot fought that one.
Who?
When Elliot fought that one.
No, your cousin.
Elliot.
Did he fight that one?
Yeah, he fought.
No, you're talking about me in Manchester.
Oh, we went to.
I'm talking about when remember was it Michael? Mickey. He took me. You went somewhere to some festival. Me and Robbie, we went to remember he took us out one night.
Oh yeah. Innuendo,
yeah. He took me and Robbie there.
Yeah.
And I was in this nightclub, and these cunts are just punching on. I was like, what the fuck?
Yeah, that's just normal occurrence in Liverpool.
Liverpool, like England's a pretty cool, like crazy place like that. Like when I went and watched the Rocky Fielding fight, it's just a very cool city, man. Very interesting.
It is.
Yeah, it's very hard, very tough. Like even when you go,
it's crazy that story. You can go forward, and you go into your fight you had in Melbourne. It's almost like a similar story.
Yeah.
You're going into a
their hometown,
like a pavilion.
Yeah.
And it's that hometown, their hometown. You're like the B side. You were literally they just got you.
It's fed me to the wolves. That's what they were expecting.
And
unfortunately,
they gave him every bit of chance to keep him in the fight.
Yeah.
He should have been finished.
Finished.
Yeah.
Because even like when
I don't think he ever fought again. That guy.
He didn't, and I got told like he got really depressed after as well. Unfortunately,
he got fucked up like big time.
Yeah.
Like, but I always said it, man. Lee was a very, very talented, and that's why I hate him, because he was a very talented boxer, man. And he, you know, what I mean, but for the fight game, people don't understand. It's not like football and soccer. It's not like if you're good, just keep on going. It takes up your life. It really does. It consumes you, man. It can suck you in and spit you out so fast, man. It can just look at guys like Dan Hooker and Conor McGregor and Mike Tyson. At least they got to reach the heights of money. Like some of us, we're down there, like, bro, we're fighting for fucking peanuts, man.
Peanuts.
Sometimes for nothing. Like, it can all eventuate to work out to be nothing. Lifelong injuries. That you look at guys like Tim Silver and stuff. They're working. He's a roofer, and he's still got issues from his fight career that'll never be resolved. And it's just sometimes it's like, is it really worth it? Is it really worth risking your life for this shit? Yeah, sometimes it isn't. I personally think it is, but guys.
Honestly, I think, I think it is too. Like some people have different preferences, but them experience that you're getting through life and that knowledge that you're going to be able to pass down to the next generation, 100%. That's a valuable thing to have, just to put yourself through that sort of stuff. You're really learning yourself some mental strength.
You find yourself who you are as the fight game so fast. You work out what sort of person you are within seconds, man.
What was the definitive thing that made you say, you know what?
What about
to compete?
To compete. So I think what it was, so when Tony went pro and he had the fight in the Oval, I was like, fuck me, like this is killer, this is killer. This is killer, I was like, this is good, like honestly, what the fuck, like could I do something like this? Like it was like such a big event, like, and I was like, I was fucking impressed, and I thought, like, I want to try it. I think I want to give that a pop, let's see what I can do. But like, I was also one of them that I didn't have the same like belief in myself, at the time. I knew I was good, I trained well, I knew I had skills, but then getting in fighting was, sometimes a different story, especially when you didn't train properly and, you were very inconsistent with it. So, but with me, I thought, I want to do this, let's give it a go, and when Diego said, look, like, we've offered this fight, like, do you want it? And he said, I just looked and I thought, I don't know, like what tell me about the guy, like, because you know I know boxing can be a dirty fucking sport, you know, like anywhere, and I know promoters just want their boys to win, you know, their hometown boys, their ticket sellers. That's how it works, you know. They want to win, and they're very reluctant to bring someone in who, you know, can potentially beat that guy. And fortunately, they didn't know anything about me, and they threw me in with this guy who was supposed to be this, you know, next up and comer. And when Diego offered it to me, he said, "Oh, look, I think you do well. Look, here's the picture. Like, would you take it?" I'm like, "Oh, what weight?" And he's like, "Oh, I think it's middleweight." Or was it super middle? It was super middle. He said, "Super middleweight. You can only get to this weight." And I was already at 72 at the time, and I think middleweight was like 76. Is it? Yeah, 76. Yeah, so super middle is it? Yeah, middleweight 72. Just under 73. So I said, all right, let's do it then. And just got myself prepared, ready. And I remember going there thinking, oh my God, what have I done? You know, like I couldn't speak to no one. Like no one, don't even look at me. Like I don't want to look at you. You know, like that. I was so like nervous, but I think that, you know, I needed that. I needed them nerves, and you just got to sort of be able to control them, because if you're not like that and you get too relaxed, sometimes you go out there and get gun shy and you don't throw nothing. So I was like nervous, I was really ready, I was trying to psych myself up too, but also not trying to expend too much energy. And when I got in there, I thought, alright, I'm just going to take it easy at the start, feel them out a little bit and see how it goes. And yeah, and after the first round, it was relatively easy. Like I thought, and he was getting so frustrated just after that first round, and I wasn't even really doing anything or trying, you know. And then second round came, he started coming out a little bit more, and I thought, oh nice, like this is just perfect for what I want to catch him with. So as he was coming, I noticed that he kept trying to cut to my right, so his left, and he kept cutting across and following across like that. So I just knew I could catch him with there was an opportunity with that movement, you know. And as I stopped on the spot, I faked to the right and brought the right cross over the top and just caught him like beautifully over the top of the head, and it just wobbled him straight away. His equilibrium was gone, and I just jumped on him a little bit, but fortunately I nearly fell, like after like giving him a few. I nearly followed through, nearly fell over, and he caught me with didn't hurt, but he caught, but it looks on the TV and shit that I got hit, but I didn't. And then you can hear the commentators like, "Oh, he's got him here, Jenkins, what have we got here?" You know, and like, oh, so I end up in that bit moving away, swinging back round, and coming through and just setting myself in the southpaw stance, and I threw an uppercut and a right hook, and he went down from that, and he got up and he was on shaky legs, and then I was just started picking him apart then.
Yeah.
There
And
was one point it should stop.
Yeah, well this is it. So what happened is I caught him with a spin-off hook, and he wobbled again, and he went up against the ropes, and I heard the 10-second like before the round ends, and I just went at him and thought I can stop him here, and I just throwing flurries, not even power, just making it look like I was gonna just like all over him, you know. And you can see the ref just like, is he gonna call it? Like I'm thinking, ref, come on, give it.
Did you actually say to the ref?
Yeah, I'm giving it to this guy. Like he's just all over the place, he's on the ropes. I'm ref, you know. And the bell goes, and he's just all over the place on the ropes. Like he helps
the corner to like drag him.
The worst thing about it was the doctor. She jumped in the ring and she called the fight off, and she was like, "Nah, no, like this is over. Like he's getting hurt too much. The fight's off." And the ref, which I've never seen ever in my life, I've always been told the doctor's got the final say. You know, the ref was like, "No, it's okay. It's on me. I've got it. He's all good." And I'm thinking, like, what the hell, like that? I remember being there, is it over? Like, please be over, you know? Like, is it over now? And I think, because the refs called it, and it turns out, no, it wasn't over. And I thought, after that, I don't want to kill this guy, you know? Like, he was, like, at the end when we spoke. So I took it a little bit easy the last 2 rounds, but every time he did try and step back up, I let him know, hey, look, tone it down, otherwise
you won't punch your wife,
like
calm down,
tone it down.
We'll get to the end together,
you know, like,
I'll
let you get to the end, but like tone it down. Anyway, get to the end, and he was really badly concussed at the end, and you know, like, mate, referees they've got like a lives
Duty
in
of
their
care, man.
hands there, you know, they've got a duty of care, like Tony just said, to look after the fighters at all cost, and mate, he was hit really bad, and I was really surprised that he didn't call it, and it was really unfortunate.
Well, in a sense,
and I was actually quite pissed off about it, you know, I was really pissed off, and not only that, like, it was, I mean, I know that you've got to do, like, if you're not known in the sport, you've got to sort of go through the promotion, like, and, you know, you've got to understand that there's a potential that they're going to try and rip you off there. But this was all new to me at the time, you know, this was my first fight, and I remember asking, what do you know about this guy? Can you find me? Oh, look, it's his first fight, he had a few amateurs. Didn't really tell me nothing about him, you know, like, I didn't know. And then when we get into the ring, he started reading off all his credentials, like, he's won this, he's won that, amateur, you know, he's got
quite a big name in the amateur
yeah,
scene.
like, so I'm thinking, like, far out, like,
His whole family was.
Yeah,
Quite a strong
they're,
boxing family.
so I'm like, far out, they didn't tell me that, but I mean, you know, like, I can't back out now, you know, I wish I would have known that beforehand, what do I get myself in for, you know. Anyway, I end up doing, and that's when I realised, actually, I'm not as bad at, I thought I was much worse than what I actually am. I actually think I might have a good go at this. Unfortunately, it didn't pan out that way.
Why?
Because, well, the second pro fight I had was in Melbourne, and the same thing happened. Like, you know, fought this kid, like, he was in the papers, former Victorian champ, you know, got a pro fight, even though it was his second fight, like his first fight he lost or something, so, like, this was his, like, redemption fight, you know, and so he comes in, and fortunately I was the A-side fighter this time, you know, so I was like, oh, fucking nice, you know, whatever, got a good gig from that promoter, you know, he went for us this time, so yeah, we went in there, and I just it was like a spa, you know, it was like I didn't expel too much energy, it was like literally like a spa. But after that fight, like, apparently like a lot of people were impressed, you know, like this good, like, you know, this kid's good. But then the promoter said, like, look, it's gonna be pretty hard getting your fights now. Like, no one's gonna really want to fight you unless you know, we get pullouts. You keep yourself ready, and we put you on one of them. And yeah, that so I wasn't really getting the opportunities to fight. I was like, you know, and you get a little bit disheartened with training because you're not fighting, you're not competing for nothing, so you pull away a little bit. You end up helping other people, coaching, and which that ends up becoming a passion as well. Like, you enjoy that, you get rewards from that just as much as you would competing yourself. And yeah, I think what happened is it just fizzled out, the hunger, desire, you know, because the fights weren't there. I did get a couple of opportunities here and there, but they were like 1 week notice, you know, like, you know, couple of weeks notice against like top quality opponents. I was going to be the B-side. I just know basically they're paying me buttons to put a no on me, to take me out, you know. That's what they wanted, and I thought, I'm worth more than the measly little grand. That, look, if you're going to offer me something to, like, basically, you know, they're not obviously saying we're going to give you this, they're giving you this to fight, but basically they're saying if it goes the distance, you're going to lose, you know, or if you don't make it convincing, you're potentially going to draw. But yeah, I think with that, I just moved away and just started coaching more, and I do enjoy that. I mean, I'm not saying it's over, but look,
he's never gonna say.
Look, I won't. Not until let's get to I get to 35, and if nothing comes up with, you know, then yeah, I'll happily say yeah.
Putting all the promoters on blast.
Oh,
Yeah.
My man's ready. You know.
Tag him.
So we just see. We see what that. Yeah. But no, I've really been, to be honest though, I have really been enjoying the coaching side of things though. Like, I've been helping a lot of boys, like at Trinity MMA there. Like, a lot of them got fights coming up, amateurs, pros and stuff like that. And, you know, just seeing them, like me being able to teach them the things I know or the things I've learned over, like, you know, my years of training and stuff like that, and boxing and stuff. I've really seen them pick up a lot, really well, you know, since, you know, I'm like, it's rewarding for me to see that what I'm teaching them is actually working, and they're actually making them a better fighter than what they previously was before I come in. And I always say, if you can enter someone's life, be a benefit, and like when you leave, and you've done a good job. You know what I mean? That's all you need. If you can enter someone's life, be a benefit or be a positive, that's, you've done something in the world that's worthwhile.
That's pretty cool because now we've got pretty much up to where Lee is now today, through in his fight game. Like we went through all the amateurs and all of that, and pretty cool to see your evolution of yourself in the fight game. But just moving on from the fights, fight world and all that. Why do you transition into this higher life of being? Like, what what's the reason?
I tell you what it is, right? I look, it's all connected, right, to me. Like the way I see things, like where your life pans out, it's all like subconscious actions. You don't even know that you're there's all like science behind it now, like that Bruce Lipton talks about and stuff. And he says, like we think that we live through our conscious mind, but only 10%. We only use like 10, maybe up to 10% of our conscious mind. The rest is all subconscious. Like we literally don't even know. Like we're acting on a subconscious, like things that we're doing habitually. Like that's all from the subconscious. We're not conscious of doing it. It's just what we do. That's who we think we are. But that's been, and I think I noticed that my habits were the wrong habits, and that included like my diet, that included me way of life, that included me, me inconsistent with training, with learning things, with anything, with what I was valuing at the time, whatever I was liking to watch, whatever it is you're putting into your body through the senses, through your hearing, eyes, what you're eating, all that stuff, they're all having a subconscious effect on your body. So I thought, I've got to change this up a little bit, and I just decided to start off by changing my diet for a start, and so obviously I went vegan, but and that was just to self-experiment. Do you know what I mean? Just to see if it was beneficial, if if it made me feel any better. And me personally, it did, but it's not for everyone, and I'm not going to advocate it to be for everyone, but for me personally, I felt better from it, like mentally, and like kind of physically, but in terms of recovery, I wouldn't say like as much as like super physical strength or like crazy for super speed. Like I wouldn't say like I like elevated like considerably or like even noticeably until like I'd done it for a while, looked back and thought, I haven't been injured, I haven't been done this, I haven't had these aches and pains, I haven't had that, so, and that really started like the change of the mindset then, because when you start going into what you're putting in your body, that also starts changing your gut microbiome, which is connected to your mind, and those thoughts and reactions they all start like that. That's where it's all connected, like it's all part and parcel with what you put in your body. Eating, seeing, hearing actually is affecting like your physical experience too. And when I realized that, I changed it up, and I've got like me rhythm that I'm going on now, like my own like my schedule, and it's working well for me, and like it has like it hasn't went down. Like I've always noticed, like back home, I was on the wrong path, shit was going wrong, Every time when I changed that up, when I came here, I was doing the right things for me, the right things for my body, the right things for my mind, the right things for people around me, and I end up living a better life, fortunately, and that's how it works. Like you do better, you live better, your experience is better, you live shit, you do shit, your experience is shit, and that's basically what caused me to change it up,
You reckon, Sav, you're big on nutrition.
Certainly.
You reckon you got into it big time through like Lee, living with him, being around him? Because remember last week when we talked, you said that when you first started fighting, you were 110 kilos in your first fight. Then you got into nutrition later on. You reckon that was
any inspiration from Lee? Sorry, Lee, definitely not. No. I suppose with my journey, And even I had trialed a vegan diet when I was in Europe for the same things as he said, you know. But no, I'm sorry. No. One of my biggest ever was I used to watch the Stern show, and Elliot Offen was like a cross-dresser, and he used to just boast and be so crazy about nutrition. And I thought, man, this guy, you know, he's nuts, but he's actually like, that's true, you know? And so if I had to say there was a character that
inspired you,
it's a New York crossdresser. But no, definitely it does help. Also, even though he hasn't inspired me, he does in other ways, even with eating, because me and Lee, we have fantastic conversations about nutrition, and he teaches me and makes me think about a lot of things. And so,
it's being around like-minded people. I mean, look at all four of us here. We all have now good diets, and we can all reflect, bounce off one another, and you feel comfortable with it.
Yeah, like, I feel like
if someone was to sit down here now and eat McDonald's, the three would look at you weird. Where when you sit with other groups that you would hang out with. No offense, Layla would but no, and when if you eat a salad, they look at you weird, But if you pull a salad out in front of us, it's like minded. We go, oh yeah, good on you, Rick. Like, here we all drink water. We're not drinking cans of Coke, you know.
The first moment that I knew I wanted to change my diet, I reckon it was like my 15th birthday, and we had Hungry Jack's at Jepp's Cross, and I literally said him, because I knew it was bad food and it made me feel bad. I just said I'm never ever gonna eat any of this these burgers and this sort of shit ever again. And so from then till now, it's been a slow learning process of having the obvious stated to me. Because what he said, people think you're weird because you're fucking looking for filtered water or eggs. But it's actually
right now I'm sitting here because tonight for dinner I had my normal dinner, but Julie made a couple of ribs and I tried them, and I'm sitting here right now regretting that I had them because I know there's sauces and sugars in them that I shouldn't eat. I feel like vomiting because I ate them. And it's once again, it's because we all sit around it and we now motivate one another. So when he slips, we give him shit. When we slip, we give each other shit. So it's good.
He goes through bins.
No, this cunt doesn't miss fuck all. He doesn't miss anything.
He had a fucking chocolate the other day and I pulled him up on it.
He did. He got me.
He can't get away from me, bro.
You can take your rubbish with you.
Yeah, bro. Seriously.
Wow.
But you know, just one more thing. Sorry, I think as well, especially for us three, you know, and I'm sure you're the same. But for us, I guess we all learned a martial arts growing up, and it's discipline. Yeah. And once we get into our discipline, we can't get out.
And you know what else we got in common? We got crazy dads.
Yeah, that's it too. But you know, I think that's the biggest thing with food is discipline. Like, stop being a fucking slack cunt.
Yeah.
Like, do not be slack. It's so easy to be healthy. Do not be slack. You know, you're just making excuses.
That's the problem with the world today. Everyone wants the easy way out.
Yeah.
They want
and like Sav said, people ignore the information on purpose. Yeah. They ignore it on purpose because they don't want to know the truth. Yeah. Like, they really don't want to know what's in that can of Coke. And they're like, no.
It's so nice, but they don't want to know what's in it.
Because they don't want to feel
bad for drinking it.
Yeah, that's right. Because they're like, nah, it's just a burger, man. It's meat and salad. No, bro.
But, you know, that's, with Lee, though, that's another reason why we're good friends, too, is because he's like a like-minded person, you know, like he's very much into his martial arts and taking care of his body and his mind. So yeah, like he's a huge asset to have around for us guys who do
yeah.
Essentially, I mean, that's why he fits in so well. He's like the fourth brother here, you know what I mean? Because we're just all very similar, like-minded people, you know? You know?
We dumped Diego. He doesn't.
You are now the oldest brother.
I am, me. I'm old and sound. You couldn't.
I reckon the last thing that I've got.
Fuck, he's got more. He's got more, bro.
Get him.
Every day on Instagram, we post like 30, 40 Instagram stories a day preaching.
I've unfollowed him. Nah.
All right, and like for me, I'll read through them.
Yeah.
You got obviously a heavy stance on the system and what they're doing with us, and you know this whole COVID thing that's happening. You're big on it, and do you get looked at batshit crazy for everything?
Honestly, people, I can tell people like don't want to talk to me, or they see me and they think, oh, like look, there's that weirdo, you know, like I can see it, you know, and then they see me and they speak to me, and think, oh, he's actually like a normal talking guy. I wonder why he puts all that crap on, like, and the reason why I put it on, it's you know, it's to counter the narrative that's being pushed in everyone's fucking faces. This constant repetition.
Can I don't want you to stop what you're doing, but one thing I want to say about him, and he makes a really good point of is he's been in a city that has been oppressed by the government. So he knows what can happen. So I was going to point that out, but keep going.
Yeah. And and it's true. It's true. And and the problem is with like Australia, they've had it so fucking easy. They've had it so easy. They've had everything given to them. No offense, like I love Australia. I love the people. Like, you know, met some of the best mates here. You know, I love it. But you've had it easy, man. You've had it easy, and you've had it so easy. You don't want to not have it easy no more. And then when shit starts hitting the fan, you know, you don't know what to do, you know?
People here, they're more willing to, they'll say, bend me over and take me from behind.
And
just let me live. That's
they'll happily bend over because you've done, what their perception is, the government does so much for us because we've had it so easy. But now, when it's coming to it, you know, things are going on that everyone should be questioning what the fuck's going on. The problem is no one's questioning what the fuck's going on.
Like for example, like me and Tony and I'm sure Sav, we all see what's going on.
Yeah.
But you know, we don't go out there and post.
Can I just quickly say, and it's not even that we know what's going on, like, because no one really knows what's going on. But the question I say to a lot of people is not always whether you're with it or against it, but the question is I always say is, do you really just have to believe everything that is said on that TV? Are you sure you're going to take that for like gospel? Because people do. Like, and
it goes back to the, like, you know, how the media can give you the perception of something that's completely off. You know, like you come to live in England and you were like, England's this nice fancy place, but his perception of England was given to him from the media. He hadn't been, he hadn't experienced it, and it wasn't until he experienced it that he realised, oh, this is completely different than what I was told. And that's life now. This is what's going on in real life. Like the media is giving you a batshit story to believe it's a psychological operation. I don't care what anyone says. You're getting implanted with this marketing for a fucking COVID vaccine, and they get it, by scaring the living shit out of you over a fucking virus, you know? And, you know, this virus, it's not even that bad, like, from when you actually look at the available, you know, data. You know, it's actually got a really low mortality rate. It's only really killing people over 80 who, you know, the average age of people who die in Western countries is on 80, you know, in between, you know, on that.
It's not true and it's never been.
Yeah, well,
never.
Exactly. Well, it's only true here. And where's it getting put here? Through here. And where's that? Who's putting it through here? The media, you know, and through your ears, and people aren't understanding this. So the reason why I post it, this is my reason. I post and I'm constantly with it. And even if some of the stuff's wrong, like it couldn't be, like it might not be as accurate, or like it might be a little bit off. But I like to kind of fact check my own stuff a little bit, and you know, but you know. Some people have jumped on me. I know you're wrong there, so I've had a look back and I've been alright. Yeah, you've got a point there. You know, I'm rational, and I'm rational. You know, and I'm logical. And if something's wrong, you know, I'll own up and I'll say, "Look, alright, I was wrong there." The problem is, like, because I'm this conspiracy theorist, and there's these experts on the TV giving their spiel of what you know what they want people to believe. People just believe that, like, that they're in that position to do it. They went to school, they did this, they did that, you know, and I'm just
like... but probably there's very same people who fact-check Lee, that they ever fact-check themselves.
Yeah.
They don't. Did they ever fact-check the news? No, you know what I mean? So, I mean, here's a great example. When they pulled the outbreak in Adelaide, then they come out and said, we're actually wrong.
Yeah.
But what's wrong? You know? What's wrong with open thinking?
Yeah, no, that's...
Oh, no, that's getting...
so scared.
That's what I'm trying to get at. Yeah. Like, Lee's got his opinion. Lee, like, and I've always said
and
it.
And Lee, all
of us here could all be wrong, what we're trying to say.
But so can they.
But so they think there's just no way they can be wrong. It's impossible.
And they're very triggered when you bring it up to them. Like this whole spiel about, like, look, if you want to be transgender, go and do it. But don't be looking to playing girl sports if you're a biological man. Don't be looking to do that.
Don Mackay's going to train me. I'm going to be the first
That's
female
next.
boxer.
You know what?
See, and
No, but honestly,
he draws attention to
but
the
you know what?
obvious
We
that needs
need
to be
him.
drawn.
We need a
I
guy
do.
like him
I would've
to
gone
wake the
better.
world
Yeah.
up, man. Because he needs to go to the
Yeah.
Olympics, win a gold,
Yeah.
and be like, "Yo, just
I told
batshit
you.
crazy,
Yeah,
man.
yeah.
Like, I'm a man.
Exactly.
I got a car. Y'all are
Exactly.
crazy."
If I
Exactly.
could get in some
But
sort
then he's a
of
woman beater.
Yeah, you know, but yeah,
Yeah.
but you know, we're living in a fucked up
legal way to
society.
bash
Yeah.
a girl,
But
hey,
you can't
sign me
even.
up, bro.
The thing is, everyone. This is what I find weird with the world we're in at the moment. Everybody wants to be free and open, but if you dare have an opinion, you're hated
Yeah.
for it. But you just told me that it's about freedom, so
They
I'm
tell
voicing
you.
my opinion,
Yeah.
and now the majority's ganging up on me. That's you're actually like you're doing what the very thing that
Yeah.
you fought
Yeah,
against.
you're going against
You're
the
oppre-
values that
you're,
you set,
you're
that you say
oppressing
you've
me
got,
to
right.
open up yourself,
Yeah.
which is in the way just now spun around. That's what I say to people. That's why I believe nothing should ever be deplatformed.
No.
Yeah, okay, you got to live within the laws of your country, which
Yeah.
some are getting a bit crazy now. But fair enough. But no one should ever be
No.
deplatformed
or
or you can't.
censored.
You know, especially on social media, it's unfair because it's like what happens when the majority turns around and it's no longer the majority's voice anymore.
Yeah.
Like you're no longer now you're the minority
Yeah.
and now you're censored.
Yeah.
Do you see how it can happen? So
Yeah.
that's why I hate when people.
But you
get
know what? They're
deplatformed.
dealing, and this is why we're good friends too. And even with the nutrition thing, see, we inspire each other. And Lee, even though he says different things, he wants the same thing
Yeah.
as me.
Yeah.
So that's why, and even yourself,
Mhm.
you know, so that sort of brings us together. And,
Yeah.
and fuck 'em, we're here.
Yeah.
And you're dealing with non-stop
Well,
fighters,
I
man.
always say like what you see going on, like what my personal opinion and what I see going on is that we're just getting our rights and liberties
Yeah.
systematically.
Well,
taken
essentially,
away.
what I believe is, in a sense, is in different ways. You know, I know I'm bringing it up. It's a funny day to bring it up on here, but they're doing what they did to the Aboriginal man all those years ago.
But-
They're telling those families, no, that's not how we grew our kids
Mm.
up. So now we're taking these kids away. We're going to show you how to do it.
Mm.
But then they're doing. That's what they did to me. I
Hey,
flew
mate.
back in, and I'm a 30-year-old man, you know, a professional athlete, and I'm getting told, excuse me, sir, you are no longer now able to look after yourself.
Yeah.
We will do it for you because you're not smart enough to
Yeah,
take it. And
yeah.
I'm like, but man, I know when I'm sick and I'm not sick. No, sorry, it's now up.
Yeah.
It's like living with your grandma every day in your country. You're like, wait, so you put me in my room for 2 weeks because you say that I'm not smart enough to. That's what they're doing to us.
Yeah.
It's people trying to control your lives
Yeah.
and tell you how to
The
live.
same administration that killed my people. that they're trying. That's just.
It is,
That's
man,
in
it
their
is.
tentacle of evil. They will do that.
Yeah.
You know, if you behave incorrectly, they'll kill you.
Yeah, it's it,
They've
man.
done it before.
It's unfortunate, but we could go on about this all night. Let's not get on. We'll get them on again, the boys. This is a good one because now we've got our own Joey Diaz and our very own Eddie Bravo. Now, we've actually Joe Rogan. We're coming for you, bro. But we got better versions of what you got, bro.
This was more of like the last episode was more like an intro to these two.
Yeah, and you know we want to have these guys on more because you know there's a lot of power in here. This would be we would have to call these sort of episodes like the nuclear plant because there's a lot of energy here right now and it's dangerous. You know, anyone that's entered this room right now, it's a biohazard. You know,
We're going up about now 40, so
yeah. Pack it in.
cut it off.
We'll say thanks to the boys for having them on. There's some like I said, there's UFC on this weekend and also one championship on. We won't get into it much because we've already done such a huge episode. It's Overeem and that Volkov.
Oh yeah.
They're fighting on the UFC and on the one championship. It's the main event's the Italian guy. He's fighting. So let me just get it up. He's fighting Vagabov. Vagabov.
Is that on one?
Yeah, one championship. So, and I don't know if my boy's on that. Let me just check. Is my guy on that? Till Tang.
Garcia Pacquiao.
Garcia Pacquiao. That's in the talk, but we'll run out of time here. We'll be here all night. But yeah, no, till Tang's.
Yeah, Garcia Pacquiao. Interesting.
Yeah. So anyway, I guess we'll wrap it up here.
Yeah.
And we'll say thanks for Lee for having him on and for all that information. That was good. That was cool.
Thanks
to
for
hear from
having me,
him.
boys. Thanks for having
Uncle
me.
Sub's always a pleasure.
Always love being here, boys. Also 3 o'clock this Sunday. Be ready, man. I'm coming out there.
Well, it's not really this Sunday. It's every Sunday.
Sunday,
So
Well, yeah, it's every
Churches in
every
place.
Sunday till someone
till he
gives me a
stops.
gig. Well, I can't be fucked anymore, but there you go. And I'm out there fucking for freedom, man. All right.
Yeah.
rock on. Oh well, thanks, boys. All right, wrap it
Thanks,
up.
boys.